The Kansas City Chiefs just finished one of the most painful seasons in recent franchise memory. 6 wins. 11 losses. Missed the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. A team built around the greatest quarterback of his generation somehow couldn't stay competitive through a full regular season. And when you break down exactly why that happened, the answer keeps pointing to the same place. The skill positions around Patrick Mahomes were broken. Now the front office is rebuilding. New pieces are coming in. New coaches are being hired. And buried inside all of that offseason noise is a move, or rather, a potential move, that almost nobody in Chiefs Kingdom is talking about loudly enough. Jauan Jennings. Still unsigned. Still available. And if Kansas City makes that call, the AFC should start paying attention. But before we get there, let's talk about what this offense actually needs, because context matters here. The Chiefs ranked 25th in rushing in 2025, averaging just 106 yards per game on the ground. Every running back on that roster averaged under 4.0 yards per carry. Isaiah Pacheco recorded 0 runs of 20 or more yards the entire season. Kareem Hunt had exactly 1. That's not a rough stretch. That's a structural problem. To fix it, Kansas City made 2 aggressive moves. First, they signed running back Kenneth Walker III to a 3-year, $43 million deal. Walker was the reigning Super Bowl MVP, and in 2025 he forced a missed tackle on 30.2% of his touches, 3rd best in the entire NFL. That's not just production. That's elite contact avoidance in space, exactly the kind of weapon a Mahomes offense can weaponize in creative ways. Second, they hired DeMarco Murray as their new running backs coach, a move that brought genuine credibility to a room that had been underperforming for over a year. Murray ran for 7,174 yards in the NFL, scored 49 touchdowns, made 3 Pro Bowls, and won the 2014 NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. He spent time coaching at Arizona starting in 2019, then moved to Oklahoma from 2020 to 2025 before joining the Chiefs staff in 2026. That's when my career took an exponential turn. From solid to really good, Murray said, reflecting on the moment, he fully understood the mental side of the game, learning protections, reading the quarterback, understanding receiver routes, and playing with an all-purpose mindset. That's the knowledge base he's now installing in Kansas City's backfield. Murray has also been clear about his top priority with this group, pass protection. Protecting Patrick Mahomes is job 1. Murray has spoken about running backs versus linebackers drill breakdowns, and the discipline required to be a receiving threat out of the backfield, angles, circles, wheels, chips, and releases. Playing with great leverage, playing fast, setting and resetting, and ultimately you've got to create space for the quarterback. That's the standard being set in that room right now. The current RB depth chart features Walker III at the top, alongside Amari Diarardo and Brashard Smith, who had a notable late-season breakout in 2025. The backfield is more talented today than it was 12 months ago. Kansas City didn't just hire a coach, they hired a culture shift for that backfield. So the ground game is being addressed. The running back room has real talent and real coaching for the first time in a while. But here's the problem. Fixing the run game alone doesn't solve the full equation. The wide receiver room still has a gap. And that gap has a very specific shape. Look at the current Chiefs WR room. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Mecole Hardman, Cornell Powell, Kadarius Toney. The group has speed and youth. But what it lacks is a physical edge receiver who can win in contested catch situations, dominate in the red zone, and do the dirty work that opens up everything else on the field. That's exactly where Jauan Jennings fits. In 2025, Jennings caught 55 passes for 643 yards and 9 touchdowns. He stands 6 feet 3 inches and plays with the kind of physicality that is genuinely rare at the position. He's not a speed merchant. He doesn't need to be. Jennings is a contested catch specialist, an elite blocker, and a red zone weapon who corners simply cannot bully off his routes. He wins with hands, body control, and football IQ, not separation speed. Now, there is a real risk attached to this conversation, and it needs to be addressed directly. Jennings tore his ACL and LCL in December 2025. That injury is serious. Recovery timelines for that combination can push a player well into the following season, and there's legitimate uncertainty about when, and how, he returns to full effectiveness. That's why he's still unsigned. That's why teams are hesitant. But here's what the hesitation is missing. Jennings doesn't need to play 17 games to change what this offense looks like. His presence on the field, even in a limited role, alters how defenses have to allocate their coverage. You can't bracket Worthy as aggressively when Jennings is lined up on the other side of the formation. You can't cheat your corners inside when there's a 6 feet 3 inches receiver who will physically beat them at the catch point. His value isn't just statistical. It's structural. Consider how this offense is currently constructed. Travis Kelce provides elite route running and veteran IQ at tight end. Worthy provides genuine vertical speed on the outside. Rice creates yards after catch. But none of those players give Mahomes the contested catch option, the guy you throw to when the window is tight, the corner is grabbing, and the completion percentage on paper looks low, but the physical advantage is in your favor. Jennings is that player. He is not just a stat line. He is a tone setter. And with Mahomes throwing the ball, that fit gets dangerous. Think about what playoff football looks like in January. Defenses tighten. Corners get physical at the line. Refs swallow the whistle. The separation that receivers generate in September disappears in cold weather elimination games. That's when Worthy's speed becomes harder to exploit, when Rice's YC relies more on blockers, and when you desperately want a receiver who doesn't need a step of separation to win the catch. Jennings has already proven he can operate in those conditions. In San Francisco, he was used precisely as that high-leverage, physical option, the receiver you go to when the game is on the line and the defense knows it. He delivered in those moments. The Chiefs' current WR room, Worthy, Rice, Royals, Thornton, Armstrong, Brownlee, is built around speed and youth. That's a sustainable foundation, but it's not a complete one. The role Jennings would fill isn't WR1. Nobody is asking him to be that. The ask is simpler and more specific. Step in as a tone setter, not a star chaser. Be the player who makes a big third down catch when coverage is at its tightest. Be the blocker who springs Walker III on a designed run. Be the red zone option that brings Mahomes' completion percentage back up inside the 20-yard line. That is a very achievable ask. And Kansas City has the offensive infrastructure to maximize it. The NFL draft is roughly 3 weeks away. The Chiefs will address needs through picks. RB and WR targets will be evaluated, and the question of where Jeremiah Love fits in this offense is a real conversation coming up. But the draft doesn't erase the need for a ready-now receiver who can contribute immediately without an extended learning curve. Jennings knows how to play football at a high level. He knows how to be used in a complex, quarterback-first offense. And he's available right now, on the open market, waiting for a team with a vision to see what he brings beyond a box score. Kansas City finished 6-11. They missed the playoffs. They are rebuilding with urgency. The backfield is better. The coaching staff is upgraded. And if the front office makes one more move, one call to an available, physical, red zone receiver who fits this roster like a puzzle piece, Chiefs Kingdom needs to recognize what that actually means. Jauan Jennings with Patrick Mahomes. The fit is real. The role is defined. And the AFC has enough to worry about already.